So old business, the BBC coffee. Do you have any feedback from how that went? From the coffee committee?
Yeah, I thought it was a good turnout. There were new people that weren't there at other meetings. The content was good from the Explore STL people.
Anything actionable? Or are they is it gonna kind of be after they do their tour?
Yeah, I don't know like what's next and when from them. I don't know, Fran, if you got a what's next and when feel from them.
A couple of things. The group that is doing the tour is meeting right now at this time. So I don't have any answers from them other than that. And I expect to get more information about the tour after today. The second thing is you probably, if you were a neighborhood member previously, you should have gotten an invoice because they want to start charging $150 invoice. I'm thinking that we probably need to look at that because some of those email addresses have changed. Those people may not be there anymore. And then, of course, there are new businesses that should be in it and that aren't. So from an actionable point of view, you guys need to decide if this is something you want to stay with, you want to continue, et cetera, as a BDC, because that's where it started in 2012. It was the BDC that decided that they wanted to participate in the neighborhood program. So that's it for me.
Okay, do we want to take a quick vote on that right now? I think we know enough about it when they were here and everything.
I can share, just to pipe in. I've got a number of guests that attended that have had meetings, follow-up meetings with with Explore St. Louis. So it was received really, really well from the folks I talked to.
Yeah.
I'll motion to vote on it moving forward with the neighborhood,
Okay,
whatever it's called.
great. Do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor of moving forward with the Explorers St. Louis neighborhood program? Any against?
Tammy is certainly not a voting member. Is there any budgetary action associated with that?
Is there any requirement from the BDC to join? I think it's all individual to the businesses.
The city has to join as the parent,
Okay,
and that is a $450 fee, which has not been raised since they started the program. And then each business pays for themselves, which is a $150 annual fee.
I think we do have that kind of funds in our budget. Are we allowed to use that from our BDC budget?
We certainly can. There just has to be that action and vote.
Okay.
For the city sponsorship from the BBC budget.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Do we need to vote separately on that?
Yes.
Okay, all right.
Financial.
Do we have a motion for?
Motion to spend $450 for the Explore STL.
Second, third, fourth.
All right, everybody in favor?
All right.
Yeah, guys, I have one more comment about the coffee. I grabbed the sign-in sheet just to let you know what the demographics ended up being. There was 35 individuals, and that counts 3 that didn't sign in and didn't wear name tags, and I didn't recognize them. So 11 were from the city, councilmen, department heads, and the presenters. 10 were actual Webster Groves business owners. 6 were home-based or non-Webster Groves businesses. And then 5 were commission members. And 3 commission members were absent.
Great, thank you. Those are really kind of helpful.
What can we do to facilitate getting these businesses signed up short of Fran having to walk around like she did last time? I felt like that was the thing that was lacking from the presentation, was a call to action and really an explanation. I got who they are, right? But I didn't really get what we need to do to get connected in. And is there a way for us to just send a link to that woman's email so that everybody can get signed up, or what do we?
Do they have like a little portal where you can just go and pay your $150?
Yeah, you can do it all online as well as the membership. And he does have an email address. I'll confirm what it is.
Is there still a threshold at which we need to participate?
We're past the 10, right? I mean.
Yeah, we needed to have at least a dozen of our businesses sign up, which we are past.
Okay, great. That's
Okay,
good to know.
good.
So maybe we can include it in the newsletter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then notify the trade associations. Okay, the event checklist
So that's a streamlining the events in the future
for next year.
for next year for after hours events as well as coffees, just to have an agenda or just to have an outline of who's speaking, who will MC, what that'll look like.
Oh, and like introducing, we talked about
Yeah.
this last week, introducing the speaker, a little short. Why they're there, whatever.
Have a
bio.
purpose, direct people, what's going on, and then what's next and when, at the end. I think if we outline that in the beginning, Fran was nicely gonna put that together.
I gave it to you.
Oh, sorry, I didn't look.
The attachments to the agenda. Okay. Great, and do we have the next dates set?
We will have those by next meeting. We can vote on them so that we'll have it.
Are we having
You like
any
that?
networking before the end of the year, or are we pushing it past the holidays?
Mr. Jerry,
Yes,
I know we discussed some dates for the end of the year for a happy hour. I don't know if do we have funds available for?
The budget is set from the middle of summer to the
Yeah.
next middle of summer, so we should certainly still have some money.
Who tracks them?
I think, I know we looked at December 11th as a holiday happy hour. Is that the only one? I mean, we could talk offline, but I think that's the only other day that I have.
certainly works for us.
Okay, and do we have a coffee set? Were we gonna do that in February?
Yes, it is not set yet,
Okay,
but we'll have it ready for next meeting. We'll have both dates ready for next meeting. Both
okay,
coffees.
so for November,
Yeah,
right? And so if it's gonna be December 11th, then we'll probably need like all the details lined up by then.
yes.
Do you have any topics in mind for the February coffee?
Not yet.
I'd like to propose one, just so we can start thinking about it
Yeah.
ahead of time. Is it possible to have any kind of presentation on the master plan, yeah,
Ooh,
that could be nice. Just so,
Definitely a possibility. Let's see where we're at a little closer to it, but certainly.
yeah. Great. Anything else about the coffee or after hours before we move on? Okay.
Do we want to
Uh,
consider, from a location standpoint for December, we should probably book that sooner than later, given the holidays. Should we go back to, Olive and Oak? Want to pick it'd be nice to pick another location.
Is there anything in Old Orchard, like, so that we kind of like rotate around a bit?
Cyrano's Cafe has an event space.
Oh, let's see, who would the contact person be for that?
I can look on our calendar.
thanks. Do love that. Voting to see him last time.
Yes.
So while Cyrano's checks their calendar. The BDC subcommittee, we met on Tuesday. There was one person that showed up, which was an important person. It was Lexi. She's now the treasurer for their trade association in Old Orchard. So what I'm kind of getting the feel for is that a lot of people are already collaborating behind the scenes, so we kind of like kicked it off, by having that kind of discussion a year ago and starting those meetings. I'll certainly show up again for the November one. But if everybody's already getting it done and like doing all their stuff, like as a part of their normal everyday, we may not need that subcommittee anymore. But we would probably need to have some good feedback from trade association or like district people to help keep us informed as far as what's going on, so that we can help wherever we can and lighten the lift for everybody. Things that we talked about the fall fest. There's some really neat things going on all over town. Some of the big questions that came out of meeting with Lexi was, we had requested 4 quarterly times where Explore Webster Groves or the city would share kind of what's going on in the community. And we haven't really seen anything for the Fall Fest season, which is just the month of October. You know, because we've got multiple things. We've got, it's Jazz Fest in October.
Yeah.
Walktoberfest, okay. And then there's the Fall Festival and there's some things going on in Crossroads. Hopefully we'll hear some more about that. So our question was, is that still going to happen, that quarterly amplification of what people in the communities are doing? And then we spoke about the Explore STL tour at the end of the month. And so I guess after their meeting today, we'll find out a little more about how information can be shared about all the different business areas. If that's going to be like a little script or a bio read on the bus during the tour, or if somebody might be able to express, you know, like what's going on in their areas during lunchtime. So there was questions about that. And I shared the media kit for WashU and how the businesses might be able to band together and kind of amplify the message that we have a lot going on here that may be of interest to the faculty, students, and staff that work there. So the next meeting would be the first Tuesday in November, 9 o'clock at the annex. So, the business survey, we weren't necessarily going to dive into what the results were because we still only have 25 responses so far. And it's mixed, as you might imagine, because everybody's got a different business model. Hopefully we can get some, if you all can like share to peers and colleagues and that to get more participation. Is there any other way? Do we want to send the link again with the newsletter?
Yeah, might as well.
Yeah.
Was there a deadline for the survey? I don't recall seeing that.
I thought we did ask for it by a certain time. I'd have to go back through the newsletter because I think that was the primary way that it was sent. Well, we sent it out with the email.
It went out through a couple of emails.
And the latest one that went out, Fran, I don't think that had a deadline on it, did it?
It had whatever you said in the first one,
Yeah,
which I don't remember.
it's been a while.
Because all I did was copy and paste that same information.
I may have just missed it, but I would recommend that if you put it out again, however you put it out, that it's amplified with the deadline and give people some urgency behind it. You can always extend it, but.
Right.
There's no deadline that I see in the newsletter.
There isn't.
Okay. All right, so.
It just went out again on Monday.
Yeah. Does anyone have a proposed deadline? I think people would either do it like right when they get it. I don't think they circle back around usually. Thoughts and one?
I think that's good. It gives us another, plus about it next.
Yeah,
meeting.
okay. So by the end of October?
Halloween. Is that what you're saying?
Sure. Yeah, oh, that's a Friday even, so it kind of like seals the deal. Okay, commission vacancy, I think there is an application pending, is that correct?
It was maybe pending. I don't want to steal your thunder.
No,
May I steal
oh,
your thunder?
yeah, now I remember. There was a little bit of a misunderstanding, from the applicant. Cause she had applied to two, you can check a number of
Multiple,
boxes, yeah. So, we are, still awaiting, that decision. Did I summarize that accurately?
Yeah, she interviewed. If you all are interested in seeing it, we had council meeting this past Tuesday, so it's on there. She'd be a great addition, I believe everybody thought, but there was a couple of other commissions she may have different interest in.
So we need to put on the pressure, is what you're saying?
Gift basket, absolutely. So, Webster, there you go.
I know that, is it Madeline from Pavlin Press? She was someone, I don't know if that's the applicant, but she was someone interested.
No, this person has an art studio experience space over in Citadel.
Okay,
Maddie's joined the Old Orchard Commission.
and that's what she said. She's like, I need to weigh.
How many? So do we just have one opening?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so we'll stay tuned on that one. New business, holiday marketing plans.
Yes, indeed. So I'll pass this out. This is Jordan's hard work. I want to give him credit. So Jordan, you can find a way to belly up and help me go through this real quick, and we'll pause and give everybody a moment to look at it. Look, please, Sherry.
Oh, yeah, that's true too.
We'll let you.
Oh, give me one.
Thanksgiving table.
Thank you.
And then, yes, we have a 6 o'clock booking on the 11th.
I've got one additional if anybody's.
You're checked, but you're out.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay,
we'd
I
have to
understand,
be done
yeah.
by 5, which I don't think
No.
gives anybody enough time. Yeah.
Jerry, I didn't realize you were gonna be virtual. I can email you one right now.
You got one
Great.
in the meeting documents.
This is a little updated, but it's, what you got, it's probably.
Okay.
Yeah, unless you want to change with it. We're about on the 10th.
I can speak to Jerry.
Yeah, we can put a list together of some options.
Well, this is beautifully presented.
Did a nice job, addition to putting it together to catch the eye, just to share. It is quite a chase. And you wouldn't think that it is to get some of the pricing from these different outlets, but it really is.
Because that's how they're gonna get their business, right?
Well, you'd think they'd be responsive. I don't know.
Yeah. I understand.
Anywho, I think the back page summary is probably the most critical piece to discuss. It gives a comparison there of the marketing that was done in 2024, as well as what's currently in the budget for 2025. And then if there's additional items desired, there's some discussion points there.
Are there any, so having gone through this process, is there anything in particular that is being recommended for either the business owners to collaborate on to help amplify some of the other things, or that is particular interest from the city perspective that you're considering that it's not currently a yes?
We did not, and I won't speak for Jordan, because he's done the conversations with these individuals. We did not come prepared, or I did not, to make recommendations on what individual businesses should do. Everybody's got their own business model,
Well,
how
we
they're
just-
interested in doing it.
Yeah, for sure. But like something that is like really neat, but that is a gap in the coverage that you couldn't fit into the budget, but where maybe others may. So,
You know, perhaps the television. I would say that we are very well covered in the audio. piece. So Jordan, feel free, jump in anywhere.
Yeah, I think maybe the social coverage is the gap, at the present time. We have Bucket List Creative listed there that the STL Magazine and Bucket List were both expressed to me, as two new avenues to explore. And, both of those channels offer, some social engagement. So, again, the STL Magazine, their package would include about 3 different campaigns, and then Bucket List would be an additional campaign. They had what they sent me was modeled after a campaign they had done with the Del Mar Loop. So you see like the image there as just an Instagram screenshot of a campaign they were doing with Fitz's. And so, so to me, more of that content, there's, to me would be maybe the gap. But,
You know what kind of numbers these different places get online as far as engagement with St. Louis Magazine and Bucket List Creative?
I can send you the engagement numbers. I did not run those off as to the following, on each of those platforms. They did provide that information. I was trying to keep it somewhat concise. Otherwise this would have been about 50, 60 pages. Because all, of course, television stations and Odyssey provided their metrics too about how many people that they're reaching. So, but I can provide that.
Is there, in all of this, is there like a schedule of when you were thinking of putting any of these starting to get pushed out?
I think like November 17th was kind of the early start date for most of the like the commercials. Actually, Odyssey's is November 13th. That was the earliest. If we were to do the television through KMOV again, we would need to shoot the new spot perhaps the first week of November. That would really that would need to be scheduled before anything else. Frankly, just to get the process rolling on that. But kind of from early to mid-November into December coverage.
This is really beautifully put together. So I want to circle back around though and say, welcome to Webster Groves, Jordan.
I'm
haven't
thrilled
met
to be
you
here. I don't think
Um,
we've met.
No.
Yeah,
My
I
name
met
is Tammy
Melissa
Bailey.
and Eric and
Okay.
a couple of you at the BDC coffee, and Fran has been wonderful. So, anyways, I'm thrilled to be here. This was a little bit of an introduction, this project. So,
Great. So Tammy, thank you. He was at the BDC and I forgot he hadn't met everyone. So Jordan Rowe.
yeah.
And he's been with us a few weeks and it's been a great start. Hopefully you all have seen city socials and a lot more information being pushed out. So it's been very refreshing.
It is a very refreshing. I've been getting a lot of those feeds. Do we want to do like a quick introduction in case there's anybody else that wasn't at the coffee? Betty?
Hello, I'm Betty Bayer. I own Betty's Books. We just moved to Crossroads and we specialize in comics and graphic novels. And we just added a little cafe and an event space.
Congratulations on your grand reopening.
Thank you.
It's a
Thank you.
cute store.
Oh,
Yeah,
thank you.
Huge shop. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'm Eric Bowering. I am a resident at large and the vice chair. Professionally, I work for Sherwin-Williams.
Karen Libby, Police Department,
Yeah.
playing the part of Assistant Chief Weimer today.
Okay.
Tim Valenti, Zoe Zedek, Master, Zoe Zedek, down here in Gore, personalized gifts.
Okay.
Tammy Bain, the chair and citizen at large.
Joe Dresty, Vanilla Sugar Bake Shop, in Old Orchard. Cookies and good stuff.
Awesome. Yeah. Let's check that out.
Well, so he met me, so he knows.
John Sauter, Leopard Boutique over in Webster Groves,
Okay,
Old Webster Groves.
okay. Now, just to stop real quick, your wife is who did the segment on KMOV last time, is that correct?
She's done all the segments
Okay.
for the last,
Yeah.
years.
Yeah. Well, they were impressed with her, like, oh, you need to have her do it again. Like the salesperson said she was fantastic. So, anyways,
Yeah,
just.
she
a-
has
a
no
compliment.
choice.
Yeah, yeah. It's a stressful
Just
day at
great
our house.
presentation
She does
skills,
well.
anyways.
Jerry?
Yes, we met briefly.
We met it.
They've been here, yeah,
At
at
the-
the BDC coffee, yeah.
Yep. I'm still with the chamber.
Okay.
Great. Does anyone have any questions about the holiday marketing plan?
I do have a question, and it might be, I might have missed it when I left, or just, I might be just missing something generally, but I love this chart. It's great. But when it says funding available, yes. Does that mean like if we pool together, or I guess like, what's the,
Where's it coming from?
yeah, like if we're like, yes, let's do it. How do we
Yeah.
move forward?
So this was all, again, based off the available funding in the budget.
Okay.
What money is allocated between the individual business districts, between money that's allocated for holiday marketing under public affairs. And so that's, we kind of tried to replicate at least side-by-side comparison, what was done last year versus proposed for this year. And so again, for instance, like, STL Magazine had offered an additional package, this holiday gift guide sweepstakes, for $2,500. But again, looking at the existing funding in business districts, the money that last year supported the Webster Kirkwood Times ads, and it was sort of a collaborative pool for the television spots. And so if those two, were to be pursued, there simply was no funding in the business district funds to support, this additional package. And so, that's kind of yes and no. I tried to go off what had been done last year with that assumption that the interest was still, that was going to be the priority again. So we'd have to pull back on some of the advertising that was done last year and move funds around if you wanted to reallocate priorities.
So if I may, just for quick clarification, so the WKT there at the top, I think that's the easiest. So 2024, the city contributed the 1630, and then you can see the breakdown of where it came from various business districts in 2025. So if we wanted to make some switches, we would need some pretty quick action and discussion on those. And then the last one, the television, we've got some funding available. I think that's probably the most ambiguous. It's a much higher spend. Prices have went up, which is not shocking. Prices go up. So the city didn't have the full 10,500, so there would need to be some sort of cost split discussed there, if that's something that the group's interested in. So I would say the easiest place to start is where funding is available, if those are still areas that you guys want to contribute, or if they're not contribute, but if you'd like to see it be a go, or if you'd like to reallocate to different places. Okay. Thanks.
So when you talk about like reallocating and things like that, is this something that's going to go before the business districts and it's going to be worked out with them, or are you asking for any feedback from the BBC?
Well, this is new to me as well, so from my standpoint, if BDC wants, I'll just go back to the WKT. If you don't think those spends are there, or if you think the city shouldn't invest in the 1630 for Webster Wonderland, I'd want a recommendation from you all, and I would like for you all to talk with the other business districts to see if that's what they agree with as well. I don't want to unilaterally make that decision.
Okay, so none of this has been like confirmed and booked yet?
None of it is confirmed and booked yet, but it needs to happen very soon.
Okay.
Exception of the Odyssey.
Yes. thank
Yeah,
you.
city contract. Everything else is on the table.
Yeah, we do have a contract with Odyssey. So that is firm.
Who's Odyssey?
That's
KEZK.
KMOX. There's a group of about 6 or 7 stations they own locally.
Mhm.
Used to be CBS Radio, now it's Odyssey.
So I guess my biggest question is return on investment, right? Like where are we getting the most bang for our buck nowadays? I think marketing to me as a business owner is the biggest question mark. You know, I feel like everybody just wants me to throw their money at them and nobody guarantees results, right? So I get irritated with it, honestly. But it's also where we need the most help because we don't know what is smart, right? You know, I see $10,000 for TV and I look around at the people that I see and they're not watching TV, right? I don't think they're listening to KEZK either. But I don't know, you know, like, cause I don't know the numbers and I don't know what actually is coming out of it. Everybody I see is sitting at a dinner table on their phone, looking at social media.
I will say KEZK is on during holiday time.
Yeah.
Oh,
a
because
lot
they
of-
use
a lot
it?
of Retail, they turn it on. So-
Gotcha.
So that has a different audience this time of year than it does.
Does the regular
rest
part of the year? But does that transition to sales in places? I don't know that. I'm asking.
Yeah, so Julia and I talked a lot about it last year because we were questioning, radio. But yes,
It is.
actually people would come in and they would say, oh, I heard those wonderful ads about Webster Groves on the radio last year. So like we were tuning in literally. And
I mean, I don't listen to the radio ever, but at Christmas time, I
You
put
put
it
that
on
on?
because it plays Christmas music.
Yeah.
Like, I
Okay.
mean,
Yeah.
There it is.
So as far as that particular one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well,
And then-
Gordon can send Fran the metrics that he talked about, so I didn't catch up, because those are great questions, but I would leave to you all to.
Well, and how do we market ourselves? Like what is there part of this comprehensive plan you're talking about that they're building for the future? Is there I know kind of we were the green arts creative was kind of how Webster pushed itself in the past. What are we doing in these marketing bits to talk about ourselves?
It's a great question. It's not necessarily part of the comprehensive plan as a specific piece, it's
Okay.
more conceptual, but you're asking great questions. I don't have the.
We may
answers for
have the
that.
script of what.
We don't always
the-
have Jordan here.
It was a-
No, it's great.
It was a repeat blurb that was just inserted into, like the radio day, the broadcasting day. So we could, maybe there's a script somewhere as far as that's concerned. I think as far as the quarterly types of pushes to the region, we were trying to just be a part of people's traditions and become top of mind whenever it was like what do we do? Well, Webster's always got something going on,
Yeah, I love a part of people's traditions.
Uh-huh. Okay, great. So is there a deadline for when you want everybody to kind of get back to you on this stuff? And would it go to you, Marie, or Jordan?
Well, so go to me, please, as your liaison, and Jordan and I are working hand in hand. I don't have a deadline for you, but knowing that this stuff will start November 13th, there seems to me there needs to be some pretty quick decisions and a vote from this group, so.
So if they get, how could we do that and vote in enough time? So do you think that the next meeting is enough time to vote and then get this going? Because won't they need like the language and the content and things to start on the 13th?
Well, let me ask you all this, the things that are in here that are already budgeted, the things that are already budgeted, from my understanding, are things that this group wanted and desired last year, which is why Tiara worked with subcommittee or you directly to build them into the budget. So if these are still desired, the ones that have, the yeses, you guys can vote now to move forward with those. And if there's some additional items that you wanted, that could be the next discussion. And that's only a suggestion. I don't mean to push you in a direction, but time is a little sensitive.
The one that I would pose to maybe consider is some reallocating some of the Webster Kirkwood Times to some of the digital. Because Webster Kirkwood Times goes to people that see us drive through, know all of the businesses and everything. We're trying to get the entire region to come. That's my only suggestion to consider.
Yeah, Webster Kirkwood Times is great for letting local people know what's going on what date and where. But as far as drawing people to the area, it's not gonna do that. So I think people go to it looking for that information, but what is that as far as an overall percentage of what we're spending, right? You're looking at 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, almost $7,000.
So that one, in my mind, is the least time sensitive, because we usually are just required to get it in week, 10 days ahead of time, so there is some time there. If that is the direction that you all want to go in, I would suggest that you make a motion, take a vote on that, and then develop a strategy to speak with Old Webster, Old Orchard, Crossroads, and Fran. Maybe that's something you can get on those agendas.
Yeah, you
Little
would need
element.
to go to those meetings with your recommendation now.
So, but the individual district ads are like, the city just pays this smaller amount and then the individual businesses still pay for its ads at a discount rate.
Are we still talking about WKT or?
Yeah, like each
Right.
business district, or it says like Old Webster Business District, Old Orchard, like. The city spend on that is not a
That's just
lot,
subsidizing it.
it's
to
just subsidizing the discount for
Okay.
the other businesses.
That's true. Most of that money is coming from the
From-
districts themselves.
Yeah.
So they
Yeah,
pretty
the
much have made a
business
decision already.
Do we know what the overall budget allocation is? Cause this looks like it's around just short of 20,000, maybe 18, 19,000. From what I'm seeing with the yeses.
It's about 18.5, approximately.
Jordan, do you have any recommendations?
I think earlier you said more digital, didn't you?
Yes,
He said.
I
more
will
social.
say, if we do the television again, Rumi called me, the county rep, yesterday, and just, again, just encouraging me, hey, we need a decision soon. I will say, we need, if we're gonna do the television again, we need to shoot a new ad, and that was largely why the price jumped significantly. They also added a second live show, another block of spots, over 200 spots now. But she said she could probably cut that to 8,500. If we took one of the live segments out and she reduced the overall number of spots, while we would still get a new commercial. We've ran the same ad the last 3 years. It was shot during COVID. It looks very dated with people in masks, and they heavily edited the footage last year, and they barely got 30 seconds. And so we would have that spot. We could put that on our site, on social. I was under the impression, well, we don't have a contract in place per se, but on the Webster Kirkwood Times, that, business districts, like you had mentioned, Fran, I think we're under the impression that we would move forward with those ads.
I don't know that I agree with that. And I only say that because they built their budgets the same way that you all did. They've done it based on past practices, and so it may be worth a discussion. And they may say, absolutely, we still want to do this, but I think it's worth a discussion.
Okay.
No.
Which would require you to go to the meetings.
Taxi district?
Yes.
Or
Taxing.
taxi.
Taxing.
Okay.
Now, the advantage is BDC is the first one of the month, so none of the other ones have happened this month. Old Orchard, which meets quarterly, happens to be meeting in October. Their meeting is next Tuesday. Crossroads is the following Wednesday. And Old Webster is the following Tuesday after that, so
So Crossroads is Wednesday, and then
Old Webster's is the following Wednesday.
You said Tuesday.
Excuse me. It's Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday.
Okay.
And they're all
So
basically the
that's the
same
14th,
type
the 22nd, and
of
the 28th.
package. It's all, each one is the gang page for each one, and then they can put whatever they want on the border. And
It's
they,
a half page, sorry. Is that a half page?
I think you can work for,
which it just
I
has,
feel.
yeah, and it depends on how many businesses opt in.
I just signed up.
Now, and I think the gift guide is included in all of that.
correct. Yeah, it's three, like Old Webster, three full pages, December 5th, the 12th, and the 19th. We get the half page in Times gift guide, which I didn't put that brought with me, but, and so like you mentioned, you're getting, the businesses are kind of getting a discounted rate for their space, but
So the ask would be, sorry, just clarify question, to reduce the spend in WKT to increase finding a new, social influencer or something along those lines, or
What is the St. Louis Magazine gift guide?
Looks like it's got some kind of.
it's holiday
Not that-
gift guide, sweepstakes, product inclusion and digital guide. They have email newsletter, that's, very popular, launches in November and kind of runs through the holiday season. And then, there's like a sweepstakes as part of that. And so, again, I can provide some links, to that. But again, that's, I'm not overly familiar with the gift guide to give a lot of specifics on that, but I can research that more if that's something you're interested in.
It has the social stuff, the social media stuff.
Sure. And so that's what we were trying to figure out is where are we reaching people from outside the neighborhood? So if we were to suggest for people to re-examine this and make sure that it's in the right categories, we would just need to figure out what we would ask them to consider. Is,
What
maybe.
the alternative is.
Yeah,
Yeah.
what's the alternative? Do you want to do more digital, less print,
Any
less
ideas?
less
what's working for
TV,
you?
or was the TV like a big draw and you want to like concentrate towards that direction, like where?
So as a suggestion, as you move forward, just doing some quick calculations because the city, with the general fund, if we could get the spend down on the 10,500 for television down to 8,500, if that's something you all wanted to do, the city could kick in looking at some of our other budget stuff, 2,000. So if the others wanted to reduce, being Old Webster, Old Orchard, Crossroads, reduce theirs, I think we could get to the 85 pretty easily, and then the city could still do the overall, our contribution to Webster Wonderland, which maybe that's just one ad. So just throwing it out there. Maybe we can do a little bit of both if they're.
Okay,
Sorry,
I'm not
quick
sure-
math that worked in my
yeah,
head.
right, I'm trying to follow the quick math.
Yeah.
Me too. So we might be able to get the television by reallocating which categories?
Webster Corporate Times,
Okay,
and the city would potentially still be able to do a Webster Wonderland.
okay,
It just wouldn't be as much of the Webster Wonderland, but at least it would still be something.
okay, in the Webster group.
Yes,
Okay.
just food for thought.
And would that require any additional input from the districts, or would they're just shifting which bucket they're putting in?
They would still require you all going to the meetings that Fran talked about on those dates and asking them to shift their funds, yes. But hopefully it would ease the conversation if people are really wanting the WKT to know that we could still do at least one ad.
I mean, at least, and two, with the gift cards, I feel like, there is still a buy-in from individual businesses to be in the gift guides or whatever, so if like the individual businesses are still can do an ad, it'll be a little more expensive without the discount, but I mean, not like that option is like. pretty good one.
Okay, so is there anyone that would I can go to these meetings.
I mean, I'll be at the Merchant and Business Association of Old Orchard next week, so.
Okay, so do
I
you
can
want
talk-
to
I can
ask
about
that?
that, yeah.
Okay. So then we have Melissa will do that one. Is there anyone else here that sits on Crossroads or Old Webster?
I'm at Crossroads.
Would you like to ask your group?
I can ask, yep. I'll do it. And it'll be great. I was just trying to.
You're gonna do great. It'll
Yeah,
be
I'll
on.
be like this new person.
That's what I say.
Just
She's
like
the new-
her.
she's the new person on the thing, so she's gonna ask to make a change.
Yeah, and then they're gonna be
That's
like, you're already changing things. I'll be like, sorry,
Do you
guys.
want some support?
Sure.
That would be
That would
very,
probably be good.
that would be excellent.
I think it would go better.
Yeah.
Something's
Okay,
on my-
so what-
Same time.
Yes, they're all at 8 o'clock on the.
It's
8
next Wednesday.
See, at
At
least
They're
the
all
Old
here?
Orchard one was like
Here.
defunct for a few years and then it just
Yeah.
restarted, so
Yeah.
it's like everyone's kind of.
Retreat.
Yeah, it's more
Yeah.
influx over there. I feel like it's also more people who.
There's
have
a
it
lot
than
of
it's
people,
gone.
yeah.
Where do you hold it?
Here also.
Oh, great.
Yeah, same room.
If we
Eight
could be
AM
at the
in this room.
If we could be at the
Great.
beginning of the
Okay,
meeting,
Old
I could do it
Webster.
too.
Oh, that's
Are you
excellent.
in the Old Webster? No.
I'll
Yes,
go.
you are. Okay.
I'll go with you, Tammy. If they can make us at the beginning of each of these meetings, I can
Yeah,
stop
it's usually when they have the
Yeah.
first comments. I think that's when.
Which one do you wanna put you down for?
all three.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you should come to Crossroads.
Because what I want to do here is this is the thing that these businesses need the most and the BDCs help with is how to pool funds for marketing. Because individually, we don't have enough to actually compete. Right? And so I just want us to be thoughtful about this. And I think us showing up will help them believe that we're actually thinking about them and maybe get them more bought in because this is something they need, right? People show up when they get something back from it. And this is a big give back. So they should have some input.
Okay.
The only thing I would ask is that Jordan, if I could work with you to make this so that these things, I don't know, some way to make it so that this, it's great, but that this, some of this information comes into this, so it's easier to present. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe a little description of what each thing is on the summary.
Or how it's gonna change, what it is now, what they're used to and what you're proposing.
So maybe another column.
Column.
So there's
Right.
like
The
24,
one page of
25,
what you
and
want
then
to change.
like
Yes.
modified 25 or something.
Webster is the
These
city
are
of change, so.
easy changes, we can do that. However, this has been hours and hours, so.
Oh, yeah, sure.
These changes.
I'm
we
happy
can-
to, yeah, I want you all to be happy, so just, I'll be glad to work with you on that.
So the ask is to reallocate some of the spend on WKT to put it toward TV
This is,
or digital.
that's what
Or
they need
so-
to
like,
tell
and when I
us.
say digital,
Yeah.
I mean socials.
Yeah.
Okay.
Socials, are we talking about the city or like using the Explore Webster, like social accounts for digital spend or what? Giving the money to St. Louis Magazine or Bucket List Creative to do social?
Correct. So in my opinion, it would be to a place that already has a huge audience.
Right,
Like St. Louis.
Let's ride some
Bucket List,
tailwinds.
Yeah.
Or if there's local influencers that are really, you know.
Or if
Yeah,
STL
that's
Made
what
is
those.
gonna do something and it requires buy-in, like things like that. I don't know if that's on your radar. It's Greater St. Louis. And STL Made have a Love Local campaign that they amplify during the holiday season.
Okay.
Usually I don't think there's like a cost involved. But things change. I don't know about it, but I think we'll find out more about how that program's going at the breakfast in November.
Chair, sorry, one more question.
Yes.
Okay, so these meetings are set over the next couple of weeks, and Jordan knows he has a very tight timeline if we want to shoot something new with whoever, KMOV. So,
Like they
Jordan,
wanted to
what is
book the
your-
Great Day segment like this week.
oh,
Oh,
Like the spots are already that full. And so she's like, I don't need your money today, but we need to book the spot.
And that's for KMOV, not KTVI, right?
Correct. That's for Great Day St. Louis, which airs on, yes, Channel 4.
So that probably is not a possibility because you're gonna need the vote and buy-in of the other districts.
I don't mean to be Debbie Downer. but-
Yeah, reality's better
It's
than,
all turning in our minds,
Yeah.
like a return on television versus these other methods.
I mean, I think it's, even if we can't do it this year, it's a conversation worth having to set up what we wanna do next year, like this is. It may be too late to change things much this year, but we wanna look at like reallocating everything for next year.
And the digital print is new this year, right? Like that whole section. Did we do any of that last year?
Well, I know we've never
Yeah.
done St. Louis
Right.
bucket list.
So that, I mean, I'm already like, wow, that's so exciting. Something that like people who come to my store actually might look at. That's amazing. And I'm sure there are other people that maybe this year they'll get some feedback and then next year, if we're like, okay, we want to do more of that, people will have some thoughts about like, oh, that actually worked well for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it'll be,
And I think also like with the Webster River Times, a lot of people have already committed to the
Yeah.
gift ads for this
Yes.
year, and so you don't wanna pull that.
They've
away
already
from
kind of
the
mentally
businesses.
allocated their
Yes.
budgets for it and that,
Yeah, so I
if
think
not
like,
actually allocated their.
if we don't
budget
wanna
for it.
like upset business owners that are used to doing that every year.
Correct.
It's like,
So
probably wanna
I have
introduce that.
one question though, because in this column, it says, yes, there's some funding available through a higher spend. Cause if we just nix doing television altogether, could that go towards like that St. Louis Magazine gift guide thing?
So that's 2,000 I just.
Yeah, no,
That's the 2,000 that I mentioned. We can scrounge up some more, but it's not, this is, yeah, 500. So yes, we could contribute.
So since we're on the tight timeline and getting back to television, is that where we're all circling back towards right now, is to nix the television this year?
I just want to also put a word of caution. When you say no more television, those bits usually end up on Facebook, right? I don't play on Facebook very often. So, I mean, then you're saying you're not going to have that social presence through that avenue. So I realize not everybody is sitting down to the, 10 a.m. TV news or the 5 o'clock news or whatever, but those pieces end up in people's feeds.
So that's a great question. In your experience, Jordan, and in your conversations with some of these other things, because we know that television does get reposted into people's socials. Is there anything else on here aside from print, which sometimes has a digital version, sometimes doesn't? Is there anything else on here that would fit that niche? At a glance, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean,
I mean,
it's a very complex layer
like-
thing.
Just like, tell me who's the person you're trying to reach? It seems like the person you're trying to reach doesn't live here, or you feel like they already know about options that are here in Webster Groves to spend their discretionary funds for the holidays.
yeah, I think
Um,
we're trying to build Webster as a destination and then all the 3 segments of the different districts. The people that do live here know, but of course, people walk in the store all the time, they're like, oh, I live up the street. I've never been here. And
Yeah.
we've been here 13 years, so I may never reach those people. They might not look at anything, right? But when I think of the BDC, I think of pooling our resources to build something to bring people here, not
Yeah.
something, what can we do outside of what these little stores can do with their individual budgets? How can we pool our resources? And I'm thinking, and maybe we're not this year, maybe more what you're saying is, let's start building a framework for the future where we've got a way to measure how these are doing. Because right now I feel like we're flying blind. Like I'm looking at these and these are just numbers on a page. I don't know what's actually paying back. I don't know what's giving us a return on investment.
We need a strategy.
Right.
Correct. I'm in full agreement with you about that.
And so that's what I want to build is, okay, what are the numbers we need to see? How do we put them in a chart? And then maybe we can measure them this year. And then when we go back next year, we can go, okay, this really brought in a lot. This didn't, the other thing I think about is drawing people to these businesses, right? And using the power, the TV ads come and go, right? But if somebody follows my business, they see my stuff going thereafter, right? So some of the biggest success we've had is with these little, follow these 3 businesses, do this thing, and you'll win this gift, or somebody will win a gift certificate, things like that actually drive engagement are the kinds of things that I think we need to be thinking about, right? How do we draw people's eyes and then have them keep coming back as opposed to, our events are great. right? People show up, they're great. I mean, but I think we need something new. And I think we're positioned uniquely, right? Webster is different than every other municipality in this city, right? As Targets and Starbucks and everything, I mean, we have them, but not a Target, not a Trader Joe, like we're not commercial, right? I think we need to lean into that and still be that small town and let people know we're here and do that through collective advertising.
And we're gonna need to help promote businesses to figure out, like, cause I don't know anybody else's, ROI.
Right,
right.
On a
So-
TV ad.
So because we've gone way over now.
Sorry.
On our agenda. This is super important. This is like, couldn't be any more important. We're in fourth quarter. This is a big push. I would say that, with the business I own, if we were featured in St. Louis Bucket List or Explore St. Louis, we would go up several hundred followers for each time we were featured. It wasn't something we paid for. It happened organically, but, I think there is a lot of value to those accounts. We need to decide, it sounds like today, whether we're gonna try and pursue television. And if we do decide to pursue television, then we need to go back to the districts. Is that correct?
Well, not with the deadline that Jordan shared, so I don't think television is.
Yeah, I don't share.
Okay.
Jordan,
Yeah,
so
we-
television artists ask, like, can you ask for
I could ask for more
for
time.
another spot and say that we have to, we have to go through a process of getting votes. This isn't like a decision you can make.
I can ask for more time.
Okay.
But it would need to be like 1, 2, 3 weeks.
Yeah,
And they wanted it yesterday.
yeah, I mean, considering we're supposed to shoot. Commercial.
Yeah.
And then-
Frankly, we were kind of late starting on this, and this was, I think, just my arrival in the timeline for all of this.
Thanks for jumping on it.
Yeah, I mean, like the Odyssey holiday contract that was already in place, so there are some pieces that I feel like we're kind of locked in before we even got to look at this. So you were talking about building a strategy, and there were already, again, some things in motion, so.
Is the reality that we're kind of too late? Like,
It's not
which is
too
fair.
late, it's
Like,
not too
that's-
late.
It's fair,
Like,
like.
if you do
a lot
not
of
wanna
work
spend the
is
money
obviously
on
put into it.
television, don't spend it, shift that to digital or print. I mean, it's not too late. But in the sense of building a better strategy for attack on, outreach, I think that has to happen, like Melissa said, kind of, in the off season going into the budget we need to be having these discussions though. Once this is locked, we need to start having those conversations.
So I'd like to make a quick proposal so we can wrap this up and see how far we can quickly touch on these other things. It sounds like it's just not between needing to get new footage for the ad and everything else for television. I'm hearing that it really can't come together this fast.
Tammy, sorry, can I ask something? Because in ARB, they do this all the time where they vote on something and approve something. Should there be, this change?
Approval if all
Yeah,
of these.
so
things come
my
to-
suggestion is to ask Jordan to reach out to this person to see if this is even feasible. Somebody make a motion to approve Jordan to move forward with the $8,500 new ad and less airtime, right? Is that?
It would be, we would lose, so if you look at the KMOV page, they had added, I think, to give us some more value. They added a second live interview on like their afternoon lifestyle program. We would lose that. We would keep Great Day. And then the block of commercials, we're getting over 200 spots across 3 of their channels. Channel 4, this Matrix Midwest, and then the Weather Channel. And so the overall number of spots would decline. We would still shoot a new commercial though. So
if this new, if it is a miracle could happen and they have the space to shoot something new for us. You all could say we approve Jordan to move on this. Should that miracle happen? And that way he has action to move before your next meeting. So you're voting on it if those things fall into place. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I think we've done that in the past.
Yeah.
Where I'm still like, between the 3 weeks that it's gonna take to get through these districts, is that enough time to shoot something before the November 13th or what 17th start date or whatever?
I don't think so. If you're gonna go through the process of going to each of the individual business district meetings and then I have to deliver them an answer, I don't know. I mean, I think we'll lose maybe the Great Day spot. And I'm not sure how quickly they'll be able to schedule the production team to come to Webster to shoot the commercial. So,
So the only way to do it is if we do not have to go back to the districts, but that's also not an option. Because we can't.
yeah.
Yeah, because you basically have to.
We can't reallocate their
It's
money.
Their money, they already committed to the Kirkwood Times and pull it out and put it into this.
Well, they did pay it in 24. All right, so have we already, or did they both reallocate from television to digital print already? Right, so if I look from 24 to 25, 24, there is no digital print. 25, there is. 24, there was television. 25, there's not. So how did that reallocation happen?
I mean, the digital print, though, the money for digital and print is coming from the city, not from the business district.
Oh, okay. So is the actual budget more than 18.5?
For what the city budgeted in
I
different.
think that's the part where I'm gray. I don't really know what money is available from where.
Then there's general fund, and so if we're happy to break this down further so everybody can
Yeah, but it's like,
Well, it says
it's,
this.
if it's 8,500 for TV, the city can contribute 2,000, even if Old Orchard and Old Webster contribute the same amount as last year, that's still not enough money. Like, they'd still have to, Crossroads would have to contribute, or the districts would have to up their amount.
Yeah.
Basically.
I think we could work that out. I think the time frame is what's
Yeah.
the issue. The city's here to try to be as supportive as we can. I think times just to get you on the television is the sort of you all's choice, because it could work. And I love your idea of doing a.
So the only way to make it work now would be if the districts, but they haven't met yet, they would have to agree to put in additional money. But there's no one that can approve that. So it sounds like we just can't,
Can't have a new commercial, is really what that comes down to.
yeah. And
We
the
can
other,
still do the lives without the commercials, right?
That's correct.
And I also noticed there's nothing on here about social media. They're not promising any shares to their page or anything.
I
They
should
had like
put that on there.
216
Yeah,
something.
yeah, it would go, I believe there is a Facebook, Instagram share, from the Great Day, segment. That our spot that they produce will not automatically be placed on KMOV's, Facebook, Instagram channels, but the live segments would go, to their channels. But I can send that to, I should have printed that page off.
so here's a question. On the Odyssey, there's an optional social media video, like we've done this before with her, correct? In the past, that is $14.50. Could that be used just in people's socials in lieu of a segment on the news? If they want some kind of video, that would be produced by Odyssey.
Are you talking about in lieu of the 2 live segments?
No, in lieu of, like. if-
Shooting a commercial
Yeah.
and paying for the
Of
commercial.
shooting a new commercial?
Right,
Yeah.
you could do the
We
Truly
don't
Sure
use it.
Stand social campaign, record that, and then shoot that out on the socials, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, cause, I don't know if you were.
That's not Odyssey.
Before. On Odyssey, like she had done a lot of like personal, social,
Yeah, she used to be on,
yeah,
Today in St. Louis or whatever it is.
Julie Tristan,
Mhm.
yeah. It's just, like if there was something that we wanted to kind of fill that video gap that could be reshared, that was kind of like a commercial. It's only $14.50.
Yep, and that's a social media video.
Yeah. Does anybody want to? Is there value to considering that, since we do not have the runway and the time to do a full television?
I like it as a replacement.
I think so.
Okay, all
money's there.
right, does anybody want to propose anything after all of this discussion?
I motion for something
Well, would be
Alright.
allocating from the TV to that? Is that what is it?
So we were told there was like maybe 2,000 that could have gone to television, but since we don't have the time to do it, and we would if we
Okay, that's
could,
where you're coming from.
if we could put that towards the Odyssey.
The Tristan socials.
Yeah,
campaign.
that,
Yeah, that gives us some video and
social
she could
video.
actually meet with the people that are own the stores and all that stuff.
I don't know how she does it, but it was nice before and it had some good views and some good impact and it fits the budget.
Also should allocate
we
that.
wouldn't be doing camo, just for clarification, we would still run the spot that we have with them, or we wouldn't run any, we wouldn't do any television.
We don't need the Maskey commercial, right?
Yeah, I don't-
Okay. So
There's no
only
reason.
are we even doing the live segments with them?
I think we keep doing the live segments because that's a big push for
Do
the,
we have,
oh, because it hasn't,
Budget for that?
it says, yes, some funding available through higher spend. Okay, that's the 2,000 you're talking about?
no, but that could maybe go back to the districts and see if, do they have anything left in their budgets to contribute towards that live, those in studio segments?
Yeah, because it looks like Old Webster and Old Orchard
They paid
contributed
past,
last year.
but it's just been
But-
reallocated to like digital this. Okay, so I would like to propose this since so we can like move on.
Well, yeah.
I'd like to propose, adding the Odyssey social media video for $1,450. Getting information regarding the cost of the lives in studio segments to be proposed at the next 3 district meetings to see if there's funding and interest and availability to continue those on television.
Mhm.
Does that cover it?
Say that again,
Okay.
because we said so many, I'm like, I'm not clear.
From the city budget, I'm proposing that instead of putting 2,000 towards television, that we put $1,450 towards the Odyssey social media video with Julie Tristan. That we find out what the cost is for the live television segments, because that does resonate, and I know that I've seen Leopard reshare that before on their socials when they've been there, to find out what the cost is for that. Bring those costs to the next 3 business districts, because it doesn't need to be filmed in advance, it'll be live in studio. We should have enough time to make those decisions and commit, possibly.
My concern is there will not be available spots. But we can pursue this, and if there is a slot, at that point, we'll take it.
Okay,
Correct me if I'm wrong though. Great Day St. Louis that Rachel has been doing for years and years has been paid for jointly by the city and by the district.
Mhm.
correct.
So
It's
the
on
district
here.
is already expecting that. That's what you're saying, you're gonna go?
I don't know,
to them
I don't know what their
change.
expectations are this year. I just know what these 2 columns in front of me say.
Right, yeah, that's why I was asking, how did this reallocation happen? Because,
That's where I'm unclear on what you're going to them and asking them to do, I guess is why I'm.
Yes,
don't know what to write.
I've never been in a district and I've never been to a district meeting, so I don't know what their expectations are, like if they're just assuming everything's the same every year, if they've had discussions over the past year of,
What I'm saying is you
Yeah.
need to be clear about what you're asking them to do. And I'm not clear enough to write it down, so.
So yeah, we would remove the old because right now if we went to TV, we'd have to use the old spot, right? The Maskey commercial.
No, we're not talking about that. We're talking
because
about
that
the
city
live.
of Webster Road
events
spent
only.
money,
okay,
right?
so, but
Yeah.
also, since the Webster Kirkwood Times, like the amount that they have budgeted towards that here, is also potentially flexible, because no contract has been signed and those things are done a week in advance. They may have some funding there that they could pull together for these live segments, depending on the cost. I don't know what the cost is.
I mean, even if Old Orchard and Old Webster contribute the same amount they did it last year,
Okay.
that's like $1,000.
My page is blank, I'm sorry.
Same would cover live, it's only gonna be 8 to shoot it in commercial. or
But
whatever.
when
Yeah.
people, I have found When you start reducing what you want to commit to, people charge you higher amounts. Like usually there's a bundle package deal and that. So, you know, like to think that we could just take off a couple of things and that would still be the same price would probably not align.
So is the request to ask the districts to still consider reducing their WKT spend and reallocating that to television live segments? Is that the request?
That's the only other place I can think of where they could.
It depends on how much the live TV ends up being, that's the
I'm
thing,
just
we don't
asking
know,
what the
so,
motion is.
yeah.
Yes.
Cause if it's only $3,000, there's enough money there, if they contribute what they contributed last year, we don't have to reallocate, but if it's more, then you have to allocate or add more. So I think it's a factor of what the cost is actually gonna be.
So I think that makes the motion more clear. I see Fran's pen working. So she's got some words, she's got some words on paper now for.
So yeah, I mean, the first
to
meeting
ask
is
you
the
this.
Old Orchard one next Tuesday, right?
Correct.
So if we know before next Tuesday what the cost would be of the live TV without the commercial, then we can decide if there's enough money there or not. We have to ask for more.
The live TV last year only focused on Old Webster. Old Orchard contributed $1,200, but that
So,
contribution was going to
commercial.
the spots.
Okay.
So is the segment still only going to focus on Old Webster?
Well, that's where each district can decide.
Okay.
So that's not a bad thing.
Last year, there was a segment that Studio St. Louis did.
Correct. On Channel 2, they did not
Yes.
give me pricing. I begged 3 times from our account exec that Old Orchard did. You're right.
Last year, I don't know why, but it's my understanding that we didn't have to pay for that.
The city or the business district, neither
Correct.
one had to pay for it.
That
Okay,
was my understanding.
okay. I mean, this is
Yeah, it
what
was a
they,
new program.
this is the campaign.
They needed
Oh, sorry.
content.
Okay, sorry.
They needed content.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you read back to us where we
No,
are?
I cannot.
Okay. Let me try saying it in words and we'll see if that's kind of where you're coming to with print. Okay, so the proposal is to take the money that could have gone towards television from the city's budget to creating a new video, social media commercial with Julie Tristan for $1,450. We're all clear on that one, right?
Yes.
Why don't we vote on that? Can we vote on that and separate that out from the rest?
Yeah,
Yes.
and then the rest of it's action items for next year, right?
Or that we can take to the districts and say, this is the amount that can go towards these live segments. Are you guys interested in that this year? This is what we have planned elsewise. So, okay, let's vote on that part. Do I have a motion?
Motion to vote to move the $2,000 that would have been spent on the television for the city to the Julie Tristan social campaign.
A second.
Great. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, great. Okay.
So for discussion, make sure that it's in the notes and we can do that. But it's coming up with 2,000. There was not a $2,000 allocation, so I just want to be clear, we can do the 1,450. That does not mean there's the remainder of the 2,000. So just want to,
Okay.
not saying we can't find something if there's later, but there's not extra money added to the budget.
Gotcha.
So
Okay.
the city pays for the KEZK Odyssey contract?
It says
Yes.
city right there.
Right,
Yeah.
and so then city money that's available is the 1630 in Webster Kirkwood Times and the 3750 on television. I'm
That
just,
was
what I'm,
last year. That
That was
it
last
wasn't
year.
allocated
It
this
wasn't
year.
allocated
It's not
this
in the
year.
2025.
I get that, but what I'm looking at is I'm trying to figure out where we're starting so I can talk to them about where we want to go, right? Like, what is the city putting in? And then I can say to each business district, what do you want to put in for holiday marketing? And then we have a total that we can then split, right? Because right now I feel a little iffy on what the total spend we're working from is and where it's coming
So
from.
3750 is not allocated for television. It's not allocated for this year.
Correct.
No, because it was last year.
It
So
was
if you need
that's
to
what we're-
clarify what the city is contributing, Jordan can get that information to Fran, but I mean, we're contributing the 1630, the 4950, the 1,000. I mean, there's quite a few areas where the
4950.
city is
definitely contribute. And we also have a broader Odyssey contract that we pay for marketing that's not necessarily just for holiday. So we have two
So
separate
instead of going to
contracts.
basically
Looks
just
like
three
13,
things like
14,
last year,
15,000 probably.
that 3750 has been spread into multiple media.
Who's spread it into St. Louis Magazine?
Nothing.
The city
Nobody,
did.
it says no.
So the city did.
The city did.
Yeah, St. Louis Magazine and Bucket
Oh.
List Creative, those have already been approved. And that's what I'm kind of trying to figure out, right? Where did all this happen? I haven't been on the BDC but a few months, right? Was this conversation happening
No,
last year?
and that's why I'm so confused.
Right.
And
Right.
That's
Who
why.
made all these
And when
decisions?
you're saying come to the meeting, I'm like, I wouldn't know what to say right now.
So the
Still.
city
Well,
has
like
an
in public.
annual budget process.
Yeah,
Your liaison was Tiara at this time. Tiara worked with whoever was Tammy and others that were here to set what the budget goals were. The BDC has a work plan. These things are presented within that work plan. That's how those decisions were made.
So we said that we wanted to go with St. Louis Magazine instead of television.
No, what happened was in the summertime, May, we came up with a budget ask. We did not, as a subcommittee or the BDC, like we voted on it, what we wanted TR to ask for and to cover. We told her the different things that were important to us. A part of her role in the city was to decide how that would be allocated. That was
Okay.
never a discussion with the subcommittee on what the dollar amounts were and how they would be spent.
So this was just Tiara deciding we would do St. Louis Magazine. Not saying it's a bad idea.
Possibly.
yeah, that's what I'm just trying to figure
I'm
out.
not saying it's a bad idea. I'm just, I'm not, the dots were not connecting this entire conversation for me.
So,
With why these things are being paid for by the city and these things aren't being paid for.
so
by the
back
city.
in August, the request was made to review this, all of what we're doing now, so that everyone would have enough time to plan, decide, make new videos, do whatever. However, we needed to bring someone new into the position, and that takes time and ramping up. So that's why we are in the middle of October or the beginning of October and looking at this now is because that takes time.
Yeah.
So, so there was a gap in there where we didn't have, information. And some contracts were already placed. I know Odyssey was one that came earlier in the year, and that one was set right away, I think in June or July, as soon as the budget was finalized. So as far as where we are in the buckets of allocation this year, that was set and we are all learning it in the same real time.
Yeah, I mean, I think we should just take this back to each district and say, what do we want to change for next year? That way we.
Yeah, we're starting the discussion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Done
so then
way
in
in
October
advance,
next
so we don't
year,
have
we're
to
not-
look at
And,
it.
and
Yeah,
it's
totally.
something that would be really good and for us to come back in January and say, okay, now that it's fresh in our minds, and gosh, I've been trying to do this for like 4 years.
Yeah.
It's in January, say, this is what worked. This was like didn't have the highest impact for the dollar spend, and how can we be a little more intentional and strategic for the rest of the year? So let's count on that on the January agenda.
Right, that's our friend.
Fran stepped out. I think that'd be a terrific idea. And along with that, I will be pushing you all for votes because a lot of these conversations are codified in the minutes, but there's not a final decision. And so we do need some final decisions. So it's great discussion.
So we are final though on the Odyssey video. Great. So now we just need information as far as the live in studio segments. And then the people that are coming to these different district meetings, I can show up to all 3 of them and help people that are already on those in those districts explain it. So Old Orchard, Melissa, I will help you next week. And then Betty, I will come with you the following week. And then John, will that be you the following Tuesday?
Sure.
Okay. Fran's not here to write all this down, but I wrote it on my paper.
Me too.
I mean, I am on that board. I'll be there too.
Okay, and then you'll be there too. Great.
Jordan, are you okay with the timing of some of this? I mean, we're not handcuffing you or anything? You're gonna be-
You, I think made the decision on the television and gave me
Yeah,
clarity
yeah,
that I
that-
needed for that. And
With the live segments that we're talking about.
Yeah,
and things.
it'll just be based on if they can make it happen, the availability. I will get the prices and forward that on and they'll want to know, well, let's book this. And I said, we can't book it yet. They're gonna talk to the.
So what
Yeah.
could, but this may give a different advantage because of choice of dates. I was gonna say, as each district makes their decision, could we get back to them? But then that would give more soon meeting districts the first choice. Anyway, all right, let's not make it complicated. We can just tell them maybe that at this date, all of the districts will have met and we can confirm.
Which date is that?
The Tuesday,
A week from Tuesday.
Just so Jordan has like
yes.
some clarity on
Tuesday. It's
when
not
to
3
expect
weeks,
something.
it's 2 weeks, yeah.
A week from Tuesday, week and a half.
So the 21st of October.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay.
Great. Is there anything else that we need to like super fast just touch on before wrapping it up for today, or can most of these get pushed off to the next meeting?
We do need to briefly talk about future of Explore Webster Groves. It is a meaty discussion. So it won't get wrapped up today, but at least if I share a little bit, you guys can start noodling on it.
Okay.
Great. So had a discussion with chair and vice chair regarding how we move forward with Explore Webster Groves. Jordan's been great in that. Building content on it is so important, putting content on there, but we do not have the capacity to do that for individual businesses. So what I had posed is perhaps a subcommittee of this group, others would love your input, is developed so that businesses could submit their items to that subcommittee for approval, and then perhaps it would go to Jordan. We'd have to build in some timeframes for that, because he is just one person. It couldn't be at the last minute, hey, we need it posted tomorrow. And I suspect that sometime, even though he's a new employee, he's gonna want a vacation, you know, so some of those things, so building it in. Would love to be a partner in how we can do that. We threw out some other ideas as it moved to another organization to be responsible for. But lots of food for thought there. I would imagine it's gonna be important over the holidays though, so. Not necessarily time sensitive. I'm not pushing for a decision, but I expect you all consider it to be pretty time sensitive. So that would be my spiel. And if you guys wanna talk about it offline.
Yeah, the only thing that if we could envision how that would happen, so like say if there were 4 people from the BDC that were a part of the committee that would watch for those and forward them to Jordan, what would that vehicle be?
We'd probably set up a city email address for them to go to, so they wouldn't clog up his regular daily email, a dedicated email address that he could check at regular intervals that he could then.
So, but if people wanted to share it to these 4 people, so say, you know, like John, Joe, Eric, and Tim are on this team, how would the businesses submit it to them that it would then go to Jordan?
Yeah.
So it understanding that, because most of the time it's just an Instagram, it's a digital thing, it's on Instagram, Facebook, or whatever, and you just share or whatever. And ask for somebody to post or be a collaborator. So I think that is the biggest part, because most people are just fine with helping with that part. If there's multiple people doing it, it lightens the lift.
Sure.
It's just what makes sense for it to logistically get to where it needs to go.
Okay, let us try to flesh that out a little bit and be back in touch with you.
Anything of note or important in the districts? I know we got a fresh bookstore grand opening in Crossroads.
And we have more businesses participating in the trick or treat in Crossroads this year, so that was fun to make the new map for that.
Great.
Fall
Anything?
Festival.
Fall Festival, yeah, that's a huge one. Yeah,
Oktoberfest.
yeah. Oktoberfest. Okay. Any big
18.
construction coming anywhere?
What's that?
Any big construction coming anywhere, or road shutdowns, or there was a lot of parking lot things going on for a while?
No.
Nope. All right, great. Exciting season. Jerry's gone for the chamber update. Fran, any happenings of note? This is a new segment that we're adding to the agenda.
Yes, you have a hand up.
Fran is so well informed that she now has a line item agenda, which is happenings of note.
I like this a lot.
This is a good idea.
This is great.
Thank you, Fran.
We were thinking you could put it in the newsletter.
It also gives people some good guidance on marketing and collaborating with their peers. So that's amazing. Thank you. City council.
We adopted our comp plan. It is going to be fantastic.
Yes,
It's very
it is.
exciting. I think next is staff will digest the entirety of the plan and identify some starting points. Am I correct in that?
So that is correct. So we're gonna be coming to council with a plan. So we need a lot of code, ordinance, zoning updates to make the plan happen. So we're gonna be coming with some plans and steps for that. So my reluctance for talking about it at the coffee was not because I am reluctant. I've talked to anybody about the comp plan all day, but not knowing that we're gonna have some steps firm by the time, and there are several other council pieces. So anyway, just food for thought. But it's really exciting that it was adopted. I know you guys have heard this lots of times, but I have to say it, the last full comp plan was from 1978. Think about all of the things that changed in the community. So, anyway, it's good stuff.
Exciting, yeah.
Yeah.
So we're going more.
Oh,
And
sorry,
we're going-
Katie, one more thing.
Okay.
There's also a stormwater advisory commission being formed. Because we just adopted the stormwater management plan. If you guys know me, you know that sustainability and addressing the climate crisis is really critical. If you know anybody who might be interested in joining that commission, we are looking for people with expertise in the field. There will be an application up soon for people to share out. So once that is live, I will make sure to forward it on to you because it is important that we get the right folks at the table.
Thank you. All right, is that it? Cool. What, by the next meeting, we will try to come into, we wanna just kind of firm up, kind of like we did for the coffee here, like, guidelines for certain things, like, so that everybody knows, like, for example, if you're going to your district meeting, pay note to like these things to report back to the BDC. You know, whether it's like events that are coming up or improvements that are coming or like things that like say, I was asking the CID for Crossroads, is that still on the table? Or have they kind of set it to the back burner? You know, like things like that so that we can all stay well informed on what's happening in our colleagues' neighborhoods. Next meeting's November 6th. It'll be the final meeting for the year. Anything else anybody wants to add before we get out?
I do have a couple dates I'd like to share, that we would love to have you all's public input and your friends and neighbors as well. So we had the Ivory Crockett open house at the rec center a week or so ago. It had a really poor turnout. There was maybe 15 people there, and I'd say a good portion were staff and council. So there's gonna be another go about it. We'll announce those dates later. However, the survey is still open through October 15th. Please take a moment. You know, our community amenities are very important to the business community. So please share your thoughts on that. You can find the link in the Friday page, city website. So again, please encourage people to do the Ivory
What was
Crockett
your, what was
survey.
the first point? Ivy Crockett, what was that?
We have
Open
the open
house?
house at the rec center.
Oh, just open house at the rec center.
Right, so and thank you. So we could get input on the splash pad. So Prop W stuff, I flew through that, so
Okay.
thank you.
Okay.
Prop W stuff, there's gonna be the splash pad at Ivory Crockett. We're seeking community input on that. That's what was not well attended. So we would like for people to provide feedback. Splash pads are huge. So, I mean, these are great amenities to have. So please fill out the survey if you haven't, encourage others to do so. We are going to have another open house for the Memorial Park Master Plan, which will include the Performance Park and the Skate Park. That date is October 29th. And it's at the rec center from 5 to 7 p.m. We're getting great feedback on the skate park, so that's not surprising. Performance Park, we're just starting to collect feedback on that, just as a reminder.
What is the performance part?
Other people are referring to it as the amphitheater.
Okay.
So amphitheater, performance park, maybe we'll get feedback on that, what to call it.
And just as a reminder, that one ranked really high, as did the skate park in the community survey that went out ahead of Prop W. The performance park / amphitheater actually was ranked number 8. So that was pretty interesting. But we would love feedback. There's not a design, so to say, in mind. So if you hear someone speak of a design, that may just be what they like. It's not something the city has picked. So at that open house, there'll be some mock-ups, different ideas, and people can share their thoughts. Are cultural institutions, are they involved in that? It's open to anybody. Right, so do they know? Well, we are just getting the word out. It's been in the Friday page. It will again be in the Friday page. Jordan's putting lots of stuff on socials. It just sounds like something that, the students at the rep and everything, like.
Even with the
might-
university theater,
Yeah.
program. I mean,
We are
that's,
putting it out, so we want everybody to do that.
Great.
So, but if you have personal connections with those folks, forward them an invite and we'll start, because we would really like input. Speaking of cultural institutions, did we ever hear about the Opera Theater? I have not heard any other updates. I don't know if Council does.
I think that, not really, probably not until the beginning of the year where we hear it.
Okay, great. Awesome. Thank you all for staying extra time. If there's not anything else, we can conclude the meeting. Excellent. Thanks,
Motion
everybody.
adjourned.
All right.
Second the motion.
Okay.